From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, June 29th, 2016. Silver is trading at $18.30 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,321 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $636. Antiwar.com reports holding their first formal meeting since Thursday's Brexit vote. European Union leaders were talking extremely tough on the process of divorce with Britain, with many appearing to want to make an example of the Brits to discourage the rest of the Union from seeking to leave. Luxembourg's Prime Minister Xavier Bettel insisted marriage or divorce, but nothing in between, while German Chancellor Angela Merkel insisted British talk of a cushy deal to retain access to the European common market was wishful thinking. Other officials said they saw a possibility of Britain negotiating a deal similar to the one Norway has, but not the Norway Plus deal British conservatives are talking about. Norway has access to the European market, but has to accept EU regulations and also provide for free movement of labor with EU citizens, likely a no-go negotiation with the British, since much of the Brexit vote centered on ending the EU citizens, mostly Poles, flocking to Britain for work. British officials appear hopeful they could get more than Norway did, since their banking industry is so important to the continent. Whether that ultimately wins out over the EU desire to spite the Brits for wanting out remains to be seen. If you're fed up with the government running every aspect of your life, but you're not listening to the Lava Flow podcast yet, what's wrong with you? Go right now to thelavaflow.com/listen. The Lava Flow podcast, channeling the flow of information to the libertarian, anarcho-capitalist, voluntarist, and agorist community. Subscribe today using any podcatcher at thelavaflow.com/listen, or just go back to sucking up to the government. The Lava Flow podcast, striking the root every episode. UPI reports former Republican presidential candidate Mike Huckabee has paid the band Survivor $25,000 for copyright infringement after using their song Eye of the Tiger during a campaign rally with Kim Davis, the Kentucky County Clerk who became a national figure for refusing to issue same-sex marriage licenses. Huckabee traveled to Davis's hometown last year to hold a celebratory rally after she was released following a brief stint in jail for refusing to abide by a judge's order to issue the licenses in the wake of a Supreme Court decision that legalized same-sex marriage. CNN reported the band sued Huckabee for copyright infringement, saying they had not given permission for the song to be used and had not been paid any royalties for its use. Huckabee's lawyers argued in court the event was a religious celebration, not a political event, and thus Huckabee was free to use the song under the Fair Use Clause. Documents show the $25,000 payment listed under the description, legal settlement, copyright infringement. For nearly 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. They also take Bitcoin for precious metal purchases and have permanently removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday agreed to decide whether gender inequity in U.S. immigration law over granting citizenship to children born abroad to unwed American citizen parents favoring mothers over fathers violates the U.S. Constitution. The case involves a convicted felon from the Dominican Republic named Luis Morales Santana, who was denied U.S. citizenship even though his father was a U.S. citizen. It marks the second time the High Court has taken up the issue. In 2011, it split 4-4 in a similar case, leaving the matter unresolved. In July 2015, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New York sided with Morales Santana and struck down the law at issue, saying it applied impermissible stereotyping and imposing a tougher burden on fathers. The U.S. Justice Department asked the High Court to take up the case. The law requires unwed fathers who are U.S. citizens to spend at least 5 years living in the United States before they can confer citizenship to a child born abroad out of wedlock and to a partner who is not a U.S. citizen. For unwed U.S. mothers in the same situation, the requirement is only 1 year. Morales Santana was convicted of several offenses in 1995, including 2 counts of robbery and 4 counts of attempted murder. The U.S. government has tried to deport him since 2000. The court will hear oral arguments and issue a ruling in its next term, which begins in October and ends June 2017. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.